Hey YouTubers, this is the GSTV reviewer coming at you with another video for you guys today. So recently I just found out news concerning about the fate of the 2017 Power Rangers movie and whether this would be a follow-up to that said movie or this would be just a straight up reboot. So this has been talk of the town for about over a year now since Hasbro had acquired the rights to the Power Rangers franchise over from Saban. So there's just been some news that broke out according to Dacre Montgomery, who played Jason in that movie. And he made a statement on Reddit that while Hasbro will consider to produce some Power Ranger films down the road, he had made an announcement that the cast members from the 2017 movie will not return, and therefore kind of giving the impression that this will be a complete reboot of the entire Power Rangers filmography. So in turn, this will be a complete overhaul of the franchise as far as movies are concerned. So as far as the 2017 Power Ranger film goes, I mean, it came out right around March of 2017, just about 20 years after the last movie that we got with Turbo, and basically bombed in the box office along with some very mixed to negative reviews. And, I gotta be honest. I mean, the 2017 Power Rangers movie, while it did have its fair share of moments, but at the same time, I just kind of watched that movie and I honestly just couldn't get into it. It really took a long time to really take into account that this would be a Power Rangers movie. But I think the problem with the way that the 2017 film was is even during that time you had all these other movies that were coming out right around this time with stuff like Beauty and the Beast, the live action adaptation with Emma Watson. I mean, that movie was out right around that same time frame. And also factoring in Logan, which had been the prequel to the X-Men film franchise ever since its start in 2000. So you had like those such movies also out during this time that it's likely that those movies will end up drawing more in the box office. Whereas, when you get to something like Power Rangers, which we haven't had any theatrical adaptations of the movie in 20 years up in that point, the expectations just weren't looking too good. And while it did have its fair share of moments, I mean, I do appreciate some of the acting in the movie and the cast members. I thought they gelled out really well. Definitely made the most of what they were given. You could only focus so much on characterization to the point where you're kind of wondering if is this a Power Rangers movie or is this some, middle of the road teen drama? And that's kind of the problem that I had with the 2017 movie. Is that it just lacked a clear vision, especially given the director responsible for making this movie. And when you think of Power Rangers, you think of, it's action, it's adventure, it's all excitement, and there's, some humor here and there, there's some seriousness balanced out. But it seemed here that they were kind of taking influence from the Power slash Rangers film, where it was taking the franchise, like this very short fan film, in a more like darker, grittier, like post-apocalyptic film. And it caught a lot of Power Ranger fans off guard. And as opposed to kind of the more like lighter and more simplified and campier approach that the franchise had been known for doing. And you kind of factoring in 2017, it really tried to embrace some of that elements of that said fan film. I will admit I did like some of the cameos with Tommy and Kimberly, with the original actors of Tommy and Kimberly, I should say, Amy Jo Johnson, Jason David Frank. Yeah, so it just kind of lacked the action and adventure atmosphere that Power Rangers is known for. While I do admire some characterization, but I think by taking into account that this is like a superhero film, so you're expecting it's like, oh, it's like you got these group of heroes being chosen by this wise sage and informing them that there's a new threat that's lurking above the horizon and they have to channel in their new powers with these new set of dinosaur coins. doing all they can to thwart off against the forces of evil, that being Rita. He did get some of that in the very beginning, and then rather than having them morph right away and basically have their first battle right off the bat, so they kind of focused more on the Power Rangers trying to kind of learn to cooperate as a team and all these insecurities that's just going on in their personal lives, like stuff that, like you could have probably just abridged that in maybe a couple minutes as opposed to just dragging it out for like half the movie or even a quarter of a movie. I think it just really lacked a vision overall. And I think by having them to reboot the entire Power Rangers movie filmography, I think this would be a way to kind of, just basically do an entirely different approach. Since the 2017 movie didn't do so well in the box office, so I could completely understand from a business perspective why they decided to kind of let go of the cast members and try to go for entirely different direction. I mean, even factoring in that the actors now are kind of moving on to bigger things, with Dacre Montgomery, who just coming off the heels of his tenure on Stranger Things, which you could watch on Netflix. And the third season just premiered recently. Very good season, by the way. I definitely really enjoyed that show. And I definitely really enjoyed Dacre's performance. It's kind of ironic that he's playing a character named Billy, where his teammate was Billy the Blue Ranger. So I thought that was kind of ironically hilarious. RJ Kyler, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. He's also doing the recent Scream series. I don't really follow the Scream franchise, but he also appeared in the recent Scream television series that's airing on MTV. I mean, Naomi Scott's found newfound success with the live action Aladdin films, so she's really coming to her own. And it's kind of ironic because Becky G, her co-star who played Trini the Yellow Ranger, also contributed to the soundtrack of the live action Aladdin movie. So I thought that was pretty cool there. And, Naomi also did another song for that soundtrack. Some of the Power Rangers cast members are still intertwined after all these years since 2017 film, because now Naomi's going on to do the reboot of Charlie's Angels, and Elizabeth Banks is also directing that film. I honestly don't care for the reboot of those films, to be honest. She's definitely coming to her own as an actress, and that movie's Aladdin, to be specific, is definitely making a ton of money. Yeah, and Becky G, even going back to her, I mean, she's definitely having her success as a musician, and her collaborations with artists like Pitbull, and most recently with Zayn Malik from One Direction. Ludi Lin, who played Zack the Black Ranger, he's definitely doing well for himself. He just made a guest appearance on Black Mirror, and even in the Aquaman movie with Jason Momoa. I think the cast members from the 2017 movie are definitely going to do well. They're definitely going to find work. So I wish them the best in their endeavors, as cliche as that may sound. But, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's from a business perspective. So at the same time, I can understand where Hasbro's coming from, and they're going to do what they can to basically revamp the franchise like they're doing with the television series and even with the movies as well. So it'll be interesting to see where they'll go from there. So what are you guys' thoughts are regarding about this announcement? Did you like the 2017 film? Did you feel that the film had a lot of flaws? So feel free to comment down in the comment section below. I would like to hear you guys' thoughts. Thank you all guys for watching, and until next time, this is the GSTV Reviewer signing out.